Hello everybody, I'm Kike I. Welcome to Weeb Review, the show that's been reviewing your favorite animes for only about a few months at this point. Today, we're going to be reviewing one of the more popular animes of this year, and that is Dr. Stone. So kick back, grab a Senku Cola, and let's travel to the Stone world. We begin our adventure in a normal high school on a normal day. Here's Taju Uki, who's about to confess his love to the girl he's been in love with for 5 years. Just before he's about to say it, a green light appears on the face of Earth. This weird green light ended up turning everyone on Earth into a bunch of weird stone statues. Jump a lot of decades later, and Uki awakens from his long sleep and breaks out of the stone statue he was stuck in. While he's walking around the stone world, he meets up with his best friend and boy genius named Senku, who's our main protagonist. Senku has a plan to rebuild the modern world.
With science, of course!
I've always wanted to use that clip. Anyway, he also wants to revive everyone and go back to how things were before the Green Light Crisis. His plan gets affected, however, once they revive another high schooler named Tsukasa. Tsukasa's and Senku's goals don't line up at all, with Tsukasa only wanting to revive the young people and killing all the corrupt old people, which he says will lead to a brighter future. Senku doesn't like that because he wants to revive everybody. This leads to a big fight, which leads to Senku and Tsukasa splitting up. Senku and Uki also split up as well, but you won't see Uki for the rest of the season, so who cares? That's pretty much the first part explained. I'll get to the village stuff later. For now, I wanted to talk about these characters. So Senku is our main protagonist, like I said before. He's a genius. A super genius, actually. The entire series is just Senku solving experiments and, well, making science seem a lot more fun than it actually is. And you know what? It's entertaining to watch. Seriously, it is one of the most entertaining shows of last season, and all we're doing is watching a bunch of science experiments. I'll get into more of that later, but let's talk about Tsukasa. So Tsukasa serves as the main antagonist, like I said before. His goal is to only revive the strong and the young, while killing all the old people. It's a pretty fucked up motive, but it works. And I mean, look at this guy. Are you really gonna tell him that his plan is bad? Or that it's wrong to kill an entire age group? Fuck no! He'll probably kill you. One wrong word about his plan and you're going to be more dead than these stone statues of people that he just keeps on breaking as he's casually walking by. Holy shit, dude, they're still alive in there. Can you calm down? So as Senku is running away from Tsukasa because Tsukasa thinks he's dead, Senku runs into a village who've been living in the stone world for a while now. This is where the rest of the anime takes place. Senku has to get these villagers to trust him and science so he can follow through with his plan while also having to beat Tsukasa, or Tsukasa is just going to keep on killing old people. Now, if you can see, there are a lot of people in this village, so I'm only going to be talking about the main ones, and the side characters who only have a little bit of an effect on the overall story will only get a little mention. Got it? Good, let's do this. So the main heroine, I believe, is Kohaku. She's one of the daughters of the village leaders. She's a strong fighter, very athletic, could probably kick everyone's ass that's watching this video. She got this strength from taking care of her sister and village princess Rui, who's been sick most of her life, by the way. I used to hate their character designs as well. Like, why are their eyes so far apart? Why do they look like fish? Why does every girl in this show look like a fish? The female character designs did grow on me a lot though as I continued watching the series. So Chrome is another one of the main characters, and he actually has a huge crush on Rui. Chrome was a science user before Senku came along as well. However, he didn't really know much about science until Senku came. Him and Senku became science bros together. Chrome was essentially what everyone was as a kid when they first heard about science. He just sort of mixes things together that he's never heard of before and just sees what happens. Other characters who also help out Senku are Geno and Kenro, who are the village bodyguards, Kaseki, who's this old man who can craft things, this little girl named Sukia who can't do much but she always tries her best to help, and honestly that's pretty adorable, so who cares. Plus this melon thing on her head is a useful disguise. Gen is an old friend of Senku's before the Stone Crisis and is also the best character in the show, and Magma, who's just a dick. One of the pros for this show for me is how it looks. This show is one of the more visually pleasing shows from the last 2 seasons, in my opinion. If you don't believe me, just watch the second OP. So many amazing shots, and it just looks so much more different than every other show. One of my favorite shots of all time has to be this video game selection scene. There's so much detail here, and it's something I've never seen before. Even minus that, some of these shots are just amazing, especially since the characters are very likable. I can't think of one character I hate, unless it's Tsukasa, but like, I'm supposed to hate him because he's the bad guy. Even Magma, who's a dick for the majority of the show, has his moments where I'm like, like, hey, maybe he ain't so bad. Not to mention the science experiments themselves are just so fun to watch. You see these people work so hard to achieve something and then they finally get that thing they wanted and it just feels so relieving. And the fun part is that these experiments are so well explained. You can literally do them at home and it'll work. People were making Senku Cola all over my Twitter as soon as the episode told them how to. That's amazing. I never thought I'd be enjoying science like this while also learning something at the same time. This show made me feel like a 5th grader watching Bill Nye for the first time. The science experiments are so fun that I forgot we had a tournament in this. For the first time in my anime fandom, I forgot about the fighting in an anime. That's impressive. Honestly, I don't care about the fights, they are good, but in this anime, it's best with the experiments. Like, fuck this fighting stuff, I want to see Gen make a song about making mangan batteries. This is my shit right here. Let's not mistake this show for just being about science experiments though. This show has a bit of a depressing side as well once you learn about Senku's father and the village backstory. I don't want to go too deep into this since I don't want to spoil too much, but it does hit you harder than you expect. Plus, the songs here just add to the mood. I was expecting an entire song in English to be in here. I'm not complaining, it's a good song, just wasn't what I was expecting. In a year where we had so many amazing shows drop, this is just another great show to watch. The fact that we had Demon Slayer, Vinland Saga, and even Fire Force all air at nearly the exact same time is incredible. Is this my favorite show this year? Probably not, but in such a stacked year, it is pretty close. Should you watch Dr. Stone? Definitely. If a guy like me who understands absolutely nothing about science can find this show entertaining, then so can you. Such a great time to become an anime fan. This has been Kika Eye, and I'll see you guys later.
海苔は亜鉛おにぎりのマンガングワスミグワスミあっという間にマンガン電池あっという間にマンガン電池あれもうできちゃったそんなに同意作業じゃなかったよ関連マンガン散々マンガン関連マンガンガンガンマンガン関連マンガン散々マンガンそれを800個なえ800個